Hi guys, this video is going to be an analysis on the first tier of talents for mages. Now, I better make this nice and clear for people. I'm not going to simply read out the talent, the tooltip, and then close the video. It's not going to be like that. This is proper analysis. We're going to look at each talent on the first tier only, and analyze how they're going to work with fire, frost, and arcane in specifically a raiding environment. Okay, we're not going to cover PvP because I don't PvP an awful lot, so I don't feel I have the necessary credentials to be able to talk about that stuff. I'm primarily a fire, a raiding mage, usually fire. So that's what we're going to cover. So if you don't like a long video covering just 3 talents, don't watch this video. I've had some people moaning, oh, your videos are too long, why don't you just show stuff? Well, it's because they're analysis videos. They're not just there to say, hey look, anyone can go onto Wowhead and read these tooltips, you know, there's no point me reading them out to you. Kind of pointless. Everyone can read themselves, or most people can. So anyway, let's get down to business. So, the first tier, we will cover it first as arcane, then we'll go to fire, and so on. So, here's the thing. Presence of mind, scorch, or ice flows. So now, we'll start with presence of mind, age-old presence of mind. Arcane, it's pretty straightforward. It's making a cast instant. Now the only cast as arcane that you can do instant, that's a DPS, is arcane blast. Everything else is channeled or instant. So the only time you can really use presence of mind in a raiding environment for a damage increase is if you're standing still. If you're not moving anywhere, then you can use that. Obviously you can use it as a mobility, but you'll end up rather taking other ones. So with presence of mind, you can't really move much. You could do presence of mind, arcane blast, a barrage, and a bomb. So that's 3 cooldowns. So it's roughly 3 seconds every 1.5 minutes that you'd be able to move in a chunk, basically. Obviously you can still move using arcane barrage and your bomb at any other time for 2 seconds. So presence of mind really doesn't become very mobile. You don't feel this mobility here. It's only adding an extra second to your already 2-second windows where you can move. So presence of mind is more going to be used for a damage increase. So that's if you're static, if you're standing still, not doing any patchwork style fight. If you're just standing there, then you can use that presence of mind to be like, bam, I'm going to get out. I'm going to reduce the cast time a little bit, get out. You're not going to gain much by it, but still, it's a gain, so you do it. The other thing is, obviously, you can use it for, and this will cover all specs, you could use it for flame strike for AoE. You could use it for, perhaps, in the talents, you could use it for an instant ring of frost, things like this. So, that's basically the feel of what presence of mind is going to become. Presence of mind is, I am standing still, I am going to use presence of mind to reduce casting. And not much else. So now, on to Scorch. Scorch is your... It's going to be your highly mobile. That presence of mind will actually cover... I'll just go back on what I was going to say. I was going to do it over different specs, but I kind of won't. The presence of mind actually covers the same for fire, because if you go into fire, well, let's analyze this here. It can only affect your fireball, so it's gonna make your instants on as fire. With pyroblast would be fireball, pyroblast, inferno blast, and your bomb. So it's even less good as a mobility spell as fire, because you can already do pyroblast, inferno blast, living bomb. That's 3 seconds. So you're gaining 1 second on top of your 3 seconds of already mobility. So again, emphasizes that fact. But slight difference, because of the base damage. You check at the moment this is base damage. I can't see, the numbers will change, but I can't see it changing to an extent to make this wrong. Fireball will be weaker than pyroblast. So when you do your palm as fire, you will actually do a pyroblast. Woohoo, palm pyro. So arcane sticks with arcane blast. Fire will use a pyroblast for presence of mind. And again, it's similar with frost. Frostfire bolt is slightly higher damage than frostbolt, so you would palm frostfire bolt and basically artificially create a brain freeze via palm. So with frost, your instants are fingers of frost, which you can kind of have two of. Frozen orb doesn't count 'cause only every minute. So fingers of frost, your bomb spell, and brain freeze. So you've got maybe 3, possibly 4 seconds of mobility. So palm would only add 1 second. So it brings it from 4 to 3 or 4 to 5, or 4 or 5. So frost is even worse for palm as a mobility spell. So there you go. That just emphasizes that presence of mind is your static DPS increase talent, not a mobility talent. On the other hand, Scorch. Now Scorch does not interact pretty much at all with Arcane. There's nothing that Scorch does, it just is a mobility. Fire, it does interact a little bit here. What is it interact with again? Oh yeah, critical mass, it increases your Scorch crit. I'm pretty sure that's all it is though. Yeah. Oh yeah, ignite counts for ignite, but then arcane counts. So yeah, Scorch basically slightly interacts with fire, but not really with the rest. So Scorch is your high mobility talent. So if you're going to be moving like tons and tons and tons and tons, then you're going to want to use Scorch. You would literally, like an example is the 4th boss in Dragon Soul, Hag something. During the frost phase, you're going to want to be moving like tons constantly, assuming you don't run to the center. So you basically are going to want to pick something like Scorch. So Scorch is your high mobility and going to be moving for large periods of time, something like 15 to 20 second periods of just constant motion, because you'll never have enough instants to be able to cast in that time. So that's what Scorch is basically going to become, and it doesn't interact much with other specs, so it's flat out for all of them. The final one is Ice Flows, and that's going to pretty much be the one that you're going to pick most of the time as a raiding mage. You're going to pretty much pick that most of the time. With each spec, it will extend your mobility by basically by as much as the cast time of the primary nuke. So for Arcane, your Ice Flows is going to increase your mobility time by, I'm at fire at the moment, by twice Arcane Blast. So it's going to increase your mobility time every minute by 4 seconds, almost 4 seconds. So if you think about most fights don't require heavy movement for Scorch, and most fights are not static enough to be a patchwork fight. So the majority of fights you are going to pick ice flows. And for bear in mind this is for raiding. So the majority of time you're going to pick that, and it's going to extend your arcane mobility at a given time of your choosing. God, I'm mincing my words. By 4 seconds. For fire, it will increase your again, it's 4 seconds, and frost it's a little bit less for frost, but then frost has a lot more instants, so it balances out. So a maximum move as arcane would probably be something like 2 arcane blasts, so that's I'm getting stacks of time, so it's 4 seconds plus arcane barrage, roughly a second, so 4-5 seconds. Your bomb, that's 6 seconds. So roughly 6 seconds you can plan out a movement of 6 seconds as arcane. For fire, you'll get a little bit more because you'll get your bomb spell. So that's 1 second. Pyroblast 1 second. So that's 2. Inferno Blast 3 seconds. And then 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds because of 2 fireballs. And then Frost you'll get tons because you'll get lots of Fingers of Frost procs, and then they can re-stack Fingers of Frost. So from looking at that first tier of talents and sort of thinking about the mobility of them, you find that Frost is actually going to be one of our most mobile specs, and Arcane our least mobile, Fire somewhere in between, and it works similar for these. Presence of Mind is your static talent, Scorch is your I move tons, and Ice Flows will pretty much be the one that you'll take as standard. So next video will be analysing the next tier, and that should probably go a little bit quicker. So thanks for listening.